Hello everyone and welcome to This Black Girl Loves Anime. My name is Fatima, but you can call me Tima. So, I'm so excited about this topic because this is one of the things that I had mentioned in my very first video. A subject of something that I love that's very, very dear to my heart. But before we get started, I wanted to thank, the viewers that showed support when I posted my video. Thank you. The comments really meant a lot to me. And, it really made me happy to see that, people who were finding the videos and enjoyed the videos enough to leave a comment. So thank you so much. That really meant so much to me. If you like my videos or anything that I put out there, please give the video a thumbs up. Please subscribe for future videos, and let's get to the topic at hand. Listen, guys, I am so excited to be talking about this because this is one of my my favorite anime, favorite novel, favorite manga, favorite now drama, and the drama is called Untamed, but the novel itself is Dao Zu Shi, or Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation. I think that would be like the easiest way for me to say it, and also that's how I found the novel to begin with. And I'll attach a link to the novel below, so those who haven't read this novel, you can go and check it out. Now, to me, Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation is like cultivation. It's the high bar of romance novels for me. Like in my previous video, I had mentioned, for a very long time, I wasn't really into anything that was romance because I felt like I've watched so many different variations of romance stories that it no longer had an effect on me until I found this whole, like, this universe of this many versions of this particular story, and I fell in love with it, and I realized that I really do, because I don't understand what it's like for two guys to fall in love. This story for me was amazing. It was so beautiful, it was so touching. It was, like you will cry, you would be angry, you go through so many emotions when you read the story. So I first found out about the story by scrolling through Manga Rocks, and at this time I was insanely in love with like learning about how two guys fall in love, and so I was obsessed with that. So when I found the story, they didn't have enough chapters, so I was just like, maybe I'll wait till till the chapters pile up. But surprisingly, like, they updated quite often. But while I gave it a try. As I was scrolling through, I noticed that there was a link to the novel. So I read the novel in a weekend, and I was madly in love. And I was just like, wow, this is a story about two guys falling in love from, childhood. Even when one dies, the other still loves him to this day and has so many regrets and so many things that he would have changed had he just, like, if he didn't know that life was so short. And so when I found out that there was an anime, I stalked the internet to find the anime. I watched it without subtitles. Then I found the subtitles, and then I watched it again. Then I went and read the book again. Then I went back and I went over the manga. And then I learned that there was this Untamed version, and I was psyched about it. But then I learned that, the Untamed version was going to be like, instead of romance, it's going to focus on, bromance and friendship. And I was horrified. I was so upset that I was just like, I'm not going to even entertain that, because for me, I get it. Two guys falling in love may not be seen as okay in certain parts of the world, and I understand that. And for me, I was like, if this is how they feel, that I'm not going to support it. So anyway, I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see like a clip on Viki. And they're like, oh yeah, check, this is, and I saw like the two characters. And the first thing I thought, I was just like, they casted the characters well, because Lejean looks the way I would imagine him to look without, the bright eyes that, he has in the novel. And we looks as the way I would assume we would look. And so I just decided to give it a chance. And you know what? I'm so glad that I did, because it was so beautiful. It was so beautiful to the point that for me as a writer, I was really happy that they censored their romance, but they didn't remove it, right? There were scenes where, you know, it is a little kinky in the novel, or it's, you know, or when, you know, there's a kissing scene, they replaced it with the way that the two looked at each other. And for me, that was enough, even for those who read the novel. So I was really, really, really happy about that. And I binged it. I mean, I spent like 2 days and I went over all the episodes to the point where my eyes were hurting. And so I'm really, really glad that I gave it a chance. Now, when I look back and, you know, there are comments where people don't understand that there's a novel, that it was a romance, they just assumed that it was bromance. Read the novel, guys. It explains it all. It is a romance between two guys. If that makes you uncomfortable, I'm sorry. But it's a beautiful novel that I think if you enjoyed this bromance, then you would probably accept and enjoy the novel itself. There are certain things that I do want to say about, you know, the Untamed and the original novel. It is like 90% aligned with the novel, right? The 10% is like the changes and the stuff that they added. Like they wanted Sister to be more into a part of the story where she really wasn't in the novel that I read. I know there's different versions of the novel, but the one that I read was, I believe, the author's updated version. And sorry, Shiji was not part of it. You know, she was probably at Lotus Pear, like still eating like, you know, like seeds. And, you know, there was kind of like this romance between JC and the girl, like this kind of like, you know, he was attracted to her. Like this dude seemed more asexual to me than anything. He didn't, and, you know, there was no romance between the two of them. And what else? Other than that, and of course the romance, how they dumbed down the romance, that, you know, was a huge change, but it was really well done that you wouldn't care. But at the same time, I think the brothers, right? This is what something that really irked my nerves. Like, they're twins, right? They're fraternal twins. They're fraternal twins that look identical. The only thing that set them apart is that, you know, Winji has like bright, like almost like sunny eyes, and that was the only thing that set them apart. But they made them dramatically different, and I don't know why. That was one of the things that bothered me, but that was the only thing that really just got under my skin. And there was a scene towards the end where, you know, where we and, you know, Lejean decided to go their separate ways. I'm sorry if I'm butchering their names, you know, I'm from New York. I'm sorry, I'll do my best. But they went their separate ways, and as I was watching that scene, I was really, really angry. I was just like, this is not what they would do. He would never let we go. But then at the very last scene, he actually went back for him, and I thought that was really beautiful. Another thing that was really dramatically different about the story, but I feel like if you read the book, you would thank the Untamed writers for doing this, is the flashbacks. So the flashbacks in the Untamed, the flashbacks happened one time and they cleared it off in one go. Where in the novel, it there were two parts to it, and even in the anime, I believe there was like two parts. The second half of the anime, I haven't watched yet, but I'm pretty sure it's airing now. It's going on now. But, you know, instead of like having you go from present to flashback, then to present, then back to flashback, they decided to get rid of all the flashbacks in there early on, so you knew what the backstory was before continuing the story. And I, as you know, as someone who followed all versions of the story, I really, really did appreciate that. So if you haven't read the novel or seen the anime, or even like scroll through the manga, I would suggest giving that a try, especially if you left Untamed thinking, oh my god, this is the best that I've ever seen, or this is going to go down in history. I suggest going and just looking through. You would thank me for it. It's absolutely amazing. Also, I think you would appreciate the anime only because there are scenes that are different. So you have the drama, you have the novel, and then you have the anime, which is slightly like different versions of each other. And I can tell you right now, there are scenes in the anime that is so badass, especially with you know, JC's mom and how she handled the girl like with her whip. It was amazing. And also the death scene that happened to, you know, the one guy and the core melting hand guy in the novel and the Untamed version is the same. However, the anime has an even more badass scene that I think you guys would appreciate. Also, you will see how, you know, they toned down Wee's powers. I think you would appreciate watching the anime version of, you know, Wee. I'm not going to spoil it because I really do want you guys to check it out and see, but the anime was, it showed the total power of, you know, his ability, and I really loved it. And I was hoping that I would see that in Untamed, but I can understand that, you know, with the drama, I'm not sure how, you know, the world will take to it, minimize budget, whatever. But anyway, it was amazing. Anyway, guys, this is me just, you know, talking about, you know, my all-time favorite love story. And, you know, I hope if you haven't watched this before that you would give it a chance. If you did watch it before, you know, check out the other versions if you haven't seen it. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in to listen to me talk about this. And yes, if you enjoyed this video, you know, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more future videos that I may have, you know, please subscribe. And I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.